On the news tonight, Nigeria drops in corruption ranking remains consistently low in the last 10 years. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele bows to pressure, says banks will accept old Naira notes after deadline. And INEC says fuel scarcity may hamper movement of official materials and personnel. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Nigeria is again falling by 4 places on the latest Corruption Perception Index ranking released by Transparency International on Tuesday. Although in the 2022 ranking, Nigeria scored 24 out of 100 points, it fell from 150th to 154th out of 180 countries assessed in the 2022 ranking. According to the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, the latest ranking on the level of corruption in the public sector indicates that the CPI index for the country has remained consistently low in the last 10 years, while the lack of transparency in Nigeria's security sector has weakened the country. According to the Executive Director of Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, Awa Rafsanjani, the ranking, which comes less than a month before Nigeria's general election, is not intended to make Nigeria look bad or unresponsive to the corruption challenge.
Our anti-corruption agencies are working, they are doing their best. However, the political control, the political manipulation, the political interferences, the lack of honesty and sincerity in the entire fight against corruption sometimes, undermines even what the government said they want to do. So it is our collective interest as responsible, patriotic Nigerians to always continue to raise these issues in the manner that is a solution-solving problems. That is why in everything we do, we provide recommendation. If we are destructive, we will not be talking about how we should all work to support government.
The Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 has helped to strengthen Nigeria's legal framework when it comes to the prevention and combating of money laundering and related crimes. The second strength, which we have also seen, is the strengthened resolve of anti-graft agencies despite political interference. We recognize the efforts of the relevant anti-graft agencies in addressing corruption despite political interference and the lack of adequate resources they need to perform optimally. These efforts cut across increased convictions and investigations.
The lack of transparency in Nigeria's security sector has weakened the country. The year 2022 was a year of brazen attacks by different non-state actors who did not speak well for the country. Despite the numerous atrocities by violent non-state actors, citizens are yet to see individuals held responsible for these acts. TI Nigeria and other partners have argued in the past that there is a nexus between corruption in the security sector and insecurity in Nigeria.
Well, to speak more on this report, Awal Rafsanjani, Head Transparency International Nigeria, joins me now live from Abuja. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, this report is definitely not a good representation of Nigeria. I mean, to have the 154th position out of 180. But could you tell us, how deep would you say corruption is eating into the country for this figure to have been released?
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers. Corruption in Nigeria, everybody appears to know and acknowledge and appreciate the fact that we are in big problem in this country, because virtually every public sector is embedded with corruption in Nigeria. And even government that usually used to dismiss and deny those allegations or those observations by Nigerians, they themselves now they are seeing it with their naked eyes. So corruption has destroyed our safety and security because of the too much corruption in the security sector. We have seen how corruption has also affected our education in Nigeria. We have seen how corruption has destroyed healthcare system in the country. We have seen how corruption has destroyed value system and morals in the society. There's nothing like ethical value in most of the public offices. You have seen how for you to get even appointment, merit is no longer there. You have to procure, you have to buy. And if you are recruited as a security officer, you have to pay bribe to get recruited. You have to pay bribe to be posted to what they call lucrative places. You have to pay bribe to even get your due promotion. So corruption has eaten up everywhere, and the only way out of this is for the government at local, state, and national level to be more honest, more sincere, and more committed to fighting corruption. Now, the challenge you have with the Barry administration fight against corruption is that this is limited only to the to Abuja, and you have 36 states of the federation that they are not in tandem with what the president is talking about. You have legislature, you have the judiciary, you have local government. All of them are not brought under one roof to fight corruption in this country. So corruption cannot be fought by just one individual or one or two person. It has to be a collective effort and collective responsibility. We acknowledge the effort that many of the anti-corruption agencies are making in the country, even though their effort is also being watered down or is being abused. When they do the work, put their lives at risk, then those criminals, those people who have been convicted, they will now be released on the basis of political consideration. Now, look at the political process that we are going into the country now. Because everything has been commercialized. So the party nomination, the party politics has also become totally commercialized, and it's only when you have, questionable resources that you can even partake in as smallest position in the country. So, therefore, it's not by surprise that fight against corruption has stagnated because political corruption is one of the major stumbling block to fighting corruption in Nigeria. And those benefiting from this corruption, who happen to be some of them in government, and they even speak on behalf of government, they will always dismiss that there's a corruption, when we say there's a corruption in the country, rather than asking, how do we overcome this corruption issue? They will rather be insulting and abusing human rights, anti-corruption activists who are fighting corruption in Nigeria. So Nigeria.
Now, sorry to interrupt you there. You're talking about party politics. Some have attributed this fall in ranking to President Buhari's pardon of two jailed former governors, Joshua Dariye of Plateau State and Jolly Inyame of Taraba State in 2022. Now, quickly tell us briefly, do you agree with this?
Absolutely, I totally agree because the nation has spent a lot of resources to investigate and eventually found them guilty. They are supposed to serve as deterrent for other corrupt officials, but Buhari administration decided to grant them pardon. And we were just wondering all the effort, all the sacrifice that the anti-corruption agencies have made to bring this to justice. And then you, just because of political consideration, you pardon them. Again, in addition to all this, you also see that the way a manner in which abuse of due process, abuse of judicial pronouncement, and then even the integrity of the judiciary itself, which is also one of the major things that is making us to actually decline. It has to be addressed. So therefore, it is important that we recognize as a nation, as a country that really sincerely want to fight corruption, that fighting corruption is not propaganda. It is by ensuring that we have policy and legal framework in place and compliance with those legal frameworks in place. That's how you can be able to, and by carrying along everybody.
Well, indeed, our Rafsanjani, I'm sorry, it's just much you can take on the matter, but Rafsanjani, Head Transparency International Nigeria, thank you very much for your time and the contribution. Thank you. Well, banks will continue to accept the old Naira notes even after the deadline for swapping with the newly designed currency notes, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Godwin Emefiele, has said. The Apex banks recently extended the deadline for the swap of the newly designed 1,000 Naira, 500 and 200 Naira notes following an outcry from Nigerians. While appearing before the House of Representatives Committee on the new Naira redesign and swap policy on Tuesday, Emefiele said CBN's actions were in line with international best practices and the Apex Bank has to be in control of the currency in circulation.
More than 2.7 trillion naira were outside the banking system. More than 2.7 trillion naira is held in people's homes. What that does is that it makes our mandate of monetary policy very difficult. When we are not in control, out of 3.23 trillion, what we see only in the banking system is just about 500 billion. There is no how our work, which you, the lawmakers, has made a law for us to carry out. Our work cannot be effective. In central bank, there's hardly anybody who says that in his locality there's nobody working in central bank. All over the 36s of the country. Those people, I doff my heart for them. They've left their job in the last 3.5 weeks. They have been in the villages, in the localities. They take cash, even when the banks are a little bit lackadaisical about it. They take cash from the CBN, maybe take like 5 million. They go to those localities and do cash exchange for everybody. At the end of the day, they bring back old notes, 5 million naira, and they lodge it back in the CBN just to make sure that even when you don't have an account, you can exchange this money. That's what we have done.
Only if you had communicated this to us much earlier, the crisis would not have come up at all. Nigerians would have gone home to sleep without any fear of let or hindrance. So I want to thank you so much for coming up with this submission, most especially your last statement, the confession you made about the position of the law, that the bank will at all times respect as sacrosanct the position of the laws of the land, of course, which is an act that established the central bank and also provided for the establishment of your good office as governor of the central bank.
With less than 25 days to the general election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said that the scarcity of the premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, may affect the movement of election materials and election personnel. The INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, made this known in a meeting with National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, in Abuja on Tuesday. Yakubu said the commission would be meeting with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to resolve any issues that might affect logistics delivery and personnel movement on election day. Speaking further, the INEC chairman explained that the commission has collaborated with the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, for 3 electoral cycles because logistics has been a problem in election administration in Nigeria.
Nigerians should not wait for the arrival of personnel and materials at the polling units. Rather, we should be there waiting for the arrival of voters. We believe that this is achievable. Recent elections have shown that working in partnership with the unions and other stakeholders, we can achieve this objective. And this is a patriotic duty, and we should all make the necessary sacrifice in the national interest. The Commission is aware that this is an enormous task. Election is the largest deployment a nation periodically undertakes, and mobilization of vehicles for election is a large and complex exercise. However, this comes only once in 4 years. What is critical here is forward planning.
Then we have to where we find them is to hear and knows the importance of MOU that we signed with INEC. And I'm assuring the national chairman of INEC today that by the grace of God, we are going to charge this duty as we give to us.
The checklist certification, which in time past were carried out a day or 2 days to the election, will now be done 2 weeks or 1 week before the election to enable all participants in the election be ready for the various roles they will play. All vehicles inspected and certified will receive a tag from FRSC for proper identification that it has met minimum safety standard. The Corps Martial is hereby calling on all union leaders to inform their members to follow due process and cooperate with members of the Corps.
President Muhammadu Buhari says there are international groups trying to destroy Nigeria by sponsoring terrorism. The president made a statement in Kano after the commissioning of projects initiated by the federal and state governments. The president, however, said he is pleased with his achievement so far as the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This next report has more details. President Muhammadu Buhari's arrival signals the commencement of activities lined up in Kano State. The president is on a one-day working visit to the state to commission 8 projects. Some of the projects commissioned by the president are the Dala Inland Dry Port. Nigeria's Sovereign Investment Authority funded 10-megawatt Husk solar plant, Family Homes Funds Estate, the Cancer Treatment Center, Muhammadu Buhari Road Interchange, National Tier 4 Data Center, and many others. During a lunch at the State Government House in Kano State, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, said the data center commissioned in Kano was the first of its kind in northern Nigeria and the best so far in the country.
The reliability of the data center is 99.99%. Today in the world, there is no any data center above this reliability. This is to show the commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration when it comes to data security, among many others. In addition, the data center in the first phase has a provision and storage of 2.2 petabytes, and also there is a possibility for expansion when the need arises.
Speaking on the inauguration of the Family Homes Funds Estates, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed that over 16,000 homes have been successfully built in the past 4 years to address the housing deficiency issue in the country.
Your Excellency, you also commissioned earlier today for the National Sovereign Investment Authority the 10 megawatts Haske solar power project. You directed the National Sovereign Investment Authority to lead the development of this project. We're glad that you were able to commission this project. Your Excellency, this project also has very significant impact on not just the industrial area where Kumboso is, but also on the lives of the citizens and the creation of jobs and enabling improvement in the business environment. And like my colleague and brother has said also, helping us to meet our commitment, the commitment that you made at COP27 towards attaining our energy transition plans.
Speaking on the 10-megawatt Husk solar plant, the Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, described the solar plant as a significant achievement in Nigeria's power generation to increase the share of renewable energy in the power mix.
This project by the Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Investment Authority, NSIA, is a clear demonstration that the country is doing the right things and walking the talk in our decarbonization commitment.
Meanwhile, Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje thanked the president and praised the federal government's efforts in the state.
The Helison and tube beam can treat all forms of solid tumors, including those of the central nervous system, musculoskeletal system, spinal and respiratory system. The branchotherapy machine can treat prostate and hypergeal tumors. Available medical gadgets include CT simulator, complete laboratory covering 7 specialties: hematology, chemistry, immunology, histopathology, microbiology, molecular laboratory, and a blood bank, as well as a fully equipped theater.
Governor Ganduje also said he believes the commissioned projects will boost the economy and be beneficial for every Nigerian. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News. We'll take a break now, but still to come. Nigeria qualifies for volleyball girls under-19 World Championship. Details of the story and more right after this break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it. Use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Now, a recap of our top stories tonight. Nigeria has again fallen by 4 places on the latest Corruption Perception Index ranking released by Transparency International on Tuesday. Although in the 2022 ranking, Nigeria scored 24 out of 100 points. It fell from 150th to 154th out of 180 countries assessed in the 2022 ranking. We also told you that Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, says banks will continue to accept the old Naira notes even after the deadline for swapping with the newly designed currency notes. While appearing before the House of Representatives Committee on the new Naira redesign and swap policy on Tuesday, Emefiele said CBN's actions were in line with international best practices and the Apex Bank has to be in control of the currency in circulation. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Chinese health officials say the country's current wave of COVID-19 infections is coming to an end. According to the country's Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in a report, the number of severe COVID-19 cases and deaths is trending downward. It also said there had been no obvious rebound during Lunar New Year holidays last week, where millions reunited with family gatherings. There have been long questions raised about China's COVID-19 reporting, but experts say the decline reported now corresponds with the expected timing of an end to this major wave. We'll take a short break now and be back with more stories and business. To stay with us. Welcome back. Mary Khan is on standby for more stories and business. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Folashade. Hello and welcome to Business News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, says it has taken over ADAX Petroleum's production sharing contract PSC assets. ADAX is owned by Sinopec, a state-owned Chinese firm. Group Chief Executive Officer NNPC Limited, Melekiari, and Young Hong Shen, outgoing Managing Director of ADAX, signed the closing document on behalf of the two parties. In a tweet on Tuesday, NNPC said the documents were signed in Abuja on January 31st, 2023 and marked the termination of a 24-year PSC relationship between both oil firms. We'll take a break and return with Stock Market Report.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Which came up with this one now? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the president of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Corruption not in my country.
That was a very good business.
Yeah.
The furniture you brought was very perfect.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
Mbano. The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I don't do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for one that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
It is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
I get that.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No,
you will die.
That is the door. I get that from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make una only add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
The second trading day of the week sees gains multiply for the Nigeria Exchange Group as the market rose to 0.15% to close at 53,238 basis points, representing an overall year-to-date gain of 3.88%. 28.9 trillion naira. That's the market cap, as investors gained 44 billion naira and the bull maintained dominance. We have the financial services sector to thank for the gains, with Veritas Capital Assurance PLC and Live and Trust Mortgage Bank PLC topping the gainers counter. Market breadth closed positive with 28 gainers against 18 losers. The gains are evident in the market and market summary as we see 250 million shares exchange hands in 4,328 deals. Over now to some select global stocks. Still mixed trading for the FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei. In the UK and Asia, investors are nursing losses as the IMF caught GDP forecast for 2023 resulting in losses. Well, that's the stock market report. Folashade, back to you.
Many thanks, Mary, for that update. And on the foreign scene, the death toll from the Pakistan mosque explosion has risen to 88. A bomb blast on Monday in Peshawar city, Pakistan, killed at least 59 people and left about 157 injured. The explosion appeared to target security operatives as the mosque is within an area housing the police headquarters area. A spokesperson for the rescue efforts, Mohammed Faizi, said the operation would continue, revealing that the bodies of 20 more people had been recovered, with fears that some bodies may still be under the rubble. In sport, Nigeria has been allotted a slot at the 2023 International Volleyball Federation Girls Under-19 One Championship in Croatia and Hungary. The International Volleyball Federation informed Nigeria of the qualification in a message signed by Yitin Kaul, manager of the department project. Nigeria was directed to confirm participation, complete the attached entry form, and return it by February 23rd. Nigeria placed third at the 2022 CAVB Volleyball Girls Under-19 African Championship in Abuja, with Cameroon and Egypt taking the automatic ticket for the World Championship. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.